Good morning. April 21st, Thursday morning. After breakfast, I don't know what the hour is. I don't care. I just know that I feel an urge to get on here and talk to you a little bit. I'm not sleeping very well. The synthesis, if you will, what I'm putting together in my mind and what I'm recalling from the past is disturbing, to say the least. I dare not bring that to you right at this moment. Why? It's that big, it's that important, and it can wait. And waiting on the Lord is a good idea. In this case, we stopped the Bible study just before the flood of Noah. I need to look at the Bible again. So I'm going to first give you a Bible reading, and then we'll probably do a Bible study all the way through this flood of Noah. Why is it important? I don't really know. You don't know. We just don't know. But we do know this. Far more pages in the Bible are dedicated to the flood of Noah than the creation of man, or the creation of the universe. So there's something about that event that's more important than either of those, because it's emphasized in the Bible. So the first thing is what I'll do is I will read that to you. You know, this is the proper name version of the King James Bible. It is more accurate than the King James Version, and so there's going to be some new things there. So I'll be seeing those as well. And this Bible is proving to be very good. I hope that we have better Bibles in the future. I do think that everything can be improved on. We don't understand the context of these things very well. There's a lot we don't understand. When I was a little boy, I was bothered. I had sleep terrors. And now I believe I understand why. And that is, I've got to give you this message, and it's not a good message. It's a very dire message. I gave you a warning yesterday, and that holds true. That things are moving forward, full speed, full steam. All systems are go at this point, from what I detect, from what I sense. They're going to do their best to downgrade, downregulate, to depopulate as fast as they can. So the pressure is on us. Yesterday, last week, I haven't looked into this very deeply, and I don't need to look into it, but nothing's happening by accident or by chance. It's all by design at this point. You have a lot of food factories, manufacturing facilities for food around the world right now that are catching fire. Yes, folks, they're going to do it to us. You think it's okay to bend the law a little bit, to even break the law, and put your boy in office, and there's not going to be consequences. Well, the sad thing is, there are consequences. As far as this war in Ukraine goes, I'm not going to be able to talk about it much more. I come from a military family, and so I feel a loyalty, even though I don't agree with the action over there. So I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to say much more. Our boys have been on the ground from the beginning. So we already have had American lives on the line. We may have even lost some already. So this is a war that we started. Don't kid yourselves. And right now, Joseph Robinson Biden, whatever his name is waging war, spending money, that he's not authorized to. My reading of the Constitution is that only the Congress can declare war. But we gave these war powers, took them away from the Congress and gave them to the president. The Congress doesn't keep a word. Do you know why? Because almost all of that funding that's going overseas is getting funneled back into their pockets. They're corrupt as hell. Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, I think that's what his name was. Mark Twain was right. We have the best Congress money can buy. So they're busy lining their pockets. And war can only be declared by the Congress, not by the Senate. The Congress declares war, and the Congress decides what type of war. And in case you're wondering, the jackass in the White House is not the commander-in-chief until the Congress has drafted his ass to be commander-in-chief. That's the old structure. That's the way it's supposed to be. So, you guys want to follow this demented guy into a war? I mean, that's definitely elderly abuse. Yeah, but it's abuse to the rest of the world. These neocons and neoliberals and neo-Zionists that are running the planet today, and you got a one-world government. It's a mob type of government. It's a mobster government. Whether they like it or not, you've got a one-world government. Those guys are running everything. They're pulling the strings. That's a shit show in Washington, D.C. I like to call it that. You need to regard those as a bunch of actors and actresses. And it's just a big stage for your entertainment and my entertainment. I don't find it very entertaining. I'd like to use all those lampposts down in that little district of criminals, put them to the purpose God intended them for. Do you like war? Do you like this type of life we have now, this economy? Well, the bankers don't have a choice. They set this whole game up, and they're running the show. So they have to inflate. That's the way this game of theirs is. Full faith and credit. Full faith in what? Credit? You mean you don't have assets? Folks, there's two different kinds of banking systems in the United States. There's the banking system of the debtors, which you and I get to participate. And there's the banking system of the bankers, which are assets which we don't get to participate in. So I will explain one part of it to you right now to give you a good example. How money is created. Lots of ways it's created. Did you know that when you take a mortgage out, the bank is not lending you any money? It's a giant fraud. I learned this from a criminal. 25-year-old man down for, oh man, what do you call it when you, forgery, fraud, I don't know exactly what his crimes were. I never looked up his sheets. He explained this thing to me. And this is what a scam was, so they had to put him in prison because the banks, criminals don't like competition. When you and I sign that promissory note, just like a check, on the other side the bank endorses it. It stamps for deposit. I think it says for deposit only, maybe. But it says for deposit, making it an asset. So the bank gives you, let's make it small, $100,000. Now, that's regarded as an asset, and it's your promise, a promissory note, your promise to pay. So you're enslaved to that instrument. You're enslaved to that system. And the bank doesn't give you any money. They create $700,000 on the spot. Fractal banking. So you give them the promise that you're going to pay them $100,000 plus interest over 30 years. They in turn get to deposit it as an asset. Now they've got $700,000 to play with. $700,000 to lend out, $700,000 to charge interest on, and make more money. There's no money value. Well, that's another story. However, some of these mortgages, the bank turns it over and stamps it and endorses it for deposit only without recourse. I think that's the phrase, but you'll have to look into this. It might say for deposit with prejudice or something. I don't know exactly, but they put an extra qualifying little clause on it, little prepositional phrase, and that makes it a whole different game. Now that $100,000 is magnified tenfold. So that $100,000 becomes $1 million on deposit for them. Talk about inflating the currency, inflating the money supply. They don't really have many controls over this stuff. So we're participating in this, and I know you'll never get a patent, a land title, a patented land like we used to get in the old days. Most of you don't know what it is. I'm not even sure what it is, okay? But I got a pretty good idea. My family had patented land. My grandfather got helped by a banker, gave it up for a mortgage. Patented land was the real title. You had absolute rights above the land and below the land to the soil in it. And it couldn't be attached and it couldn't be taxed. So you couldn't be deprived of your property by it being taxed away. Do you like that idea? Okay. What you're given today is a certificate of title. And if you read it, it gives you a particular legal term. You are the tenant. Yeah, you're just renting it. You don't own it. Who owns it? That's for you to find out. I think it has something to do with that 1933 bankruptcy stuff. Yep. Once we authorize this Federal Reserve System, which is not federal and has no reserves, we were sunk. President Woodrow Wilson said he was a most unhappy man because he realized that he had destroyed his nation. Yeah, folks. So, I'm going to tell you again, stop relying on Washington, D.C. They are the enemy. Start relying on yourselves. Turn to the governors of your states and demand the militia. Screw the National Guard, because the way the laws are written up, the president can take those over at any time he wants. Your militia can never be taken over by your president. So form up your militias. Oh, by the way, this next message that I'm going to be giving to you after I'm really ready to deliver it, you're going to demand the militias. It's going to be about the only way we're going to get through it. Not all of us are getting through it. Pockets of us are getting through it. You will need the militia. You will need the help and support. So it's time to join arms. It's time to bear arms. You really need to be members of the militia in good standing. And I don't care if I'm a private or corporal. I'll take that. I just as soon push a damn broom. As long as I'm on the right side, and if I have to fight with a broomstick, I will. I'd rather fight with my wits, and above all, with Yahweh, with the Holy Spirit. The folks that run the planet today are trying to reduce us to barbarism. We need our militias. We need to be well organized. They're going to fight us. They're going to make this happen no matter what. There is no choice in this matter. But forget about turning to Washington, D.C. The sooner you write those people off, the sooner you turn your backs on them and refuse to participate in anything they have, the better off you're going to be. You have to go local. Your state, your counties, your communities. Yes, community organizer. What a job for Barack Obama. Yeah, community communist organizers. It's a heavy message, and it bothered me when I was a little boy. It was too much to carry then. My mother comforted me a lot. It was a pretty rough time. I didn't like it very much, but now I realize that I'm here to sound the alarm. You folks better get ready, because what's coming, even the keepers who are trying to manage this planet don't know and don't understand. And it's going to be a real crap game. This is a big one, folks. We're going to lose a lot of people in this. We're going to lose our civilization, but we don't have to lose our culture. We do have to band together. You know, America's a very beautiful place.